Today, I'd like to show you some of my favorite tricks with images on Google Slides. First trick is to get to Google Slides, I just type slides.new, and then I can start with a brand new Google slideshow. When you first get into a Google slideshow, there's a couple things I do to set it up. Of course, always title your presentation. And then I remove everything on the background, the layout. So there's a couple ways you can do this. You can either go to layout and go blank, or a quick, easy way is just drag your mouse down and it will grab everything that it captures and then hit the backspace on your keyboard and it will clear your slide. If I'm working in a lot of detail on a Google slide, I also like to get rid of the speaker's notes so it's zoomed in as possible. So for that, I go to View and then I uncheck Show Speaker's Notes. So I have as big as I can to work on this slideshow. Then I set the background. And there's a couple different ways you can do this. You can click background and you can change the different colors. You can choose gradient and you can insert an image. Now, an image can be an image you designed. So if you put something on the slide, so let's put a tree. Let's put this tree on the slide. And let's say we don't want the students to be able to move this tree we have right here. Right now, they'd be able to pick it up and move it. So we're going to place that in the background. So an easy way to do that, once you have the slide how you want it, you click File, Download, and either a JPEG or a PNG, and this will give you an image of just that slide. So we'll download just the slide and then title it something that you can find it easy, and also make sure you know where it's saving on your desktop. And then click Save. And then we're going to delete that tree off there, go to background, and we're going to choose image this time, and we're going to browse, and we're going to go find that slide. There it is. And then we have the tree in the background and it can't be moved. The students wouldn't be able to touch that. Of course, they can always change the background themselves, but most won't. So that's a neat little feature you can do. Now, on this next slide, so over here, we can add new slide by clicking the plus button or right-clicking and new slide. And once again, drag down, it'll highlight, click delete. Now for the background on this slide, I want it to be this green color. But when I go to background and find a color, I can't get the perfect green that I want. So what you can do is there's an extension called Colorzilla, and you can click on this extension and then you drag your mouse over what color, and when you watch the little box up there, and when it gets to the color you like, so let's say this one, it will copy the hex code, it's called, and you can go to your new slide background and go down to custom, and then just paste in that new hex code. And you have some options. You can make it more transparent, or you can even drag just along there if you didn't get exactly what you wanted, and it'll keep in that same hue. And then you can click OK and then done. You can also look up hex codes. So hex codes for green. And you can see shades of green, and they will tell you different hex codes, and you can find the perfect color, and all you have to do is type or copy and paste those hex codes into your background. So right here on custom, you can just type it in right here. that hex code. You can also do this for shapes. So if we had a shape we put on here and we wanted to use one of these hex codes, 3A5311, then we can go to color it and custom, and that was hashtag 3A5311, I believe, and then click OK, and then we have that color. So hex codes are pretty fun to get the perfect colors because I often find these are limiting and I need more variety of colors. Other things you can do with the slide itself is you can change the file size. So if you click on File and you go down to Page Setup, you can change the different sizes, or you can choose Custom, and you can make it the size of a piece of paper. So I can go 8.5 by 11 inches and click Apply. You can also, on Page Setup, you can change it to centimeters, points, or pixels. So if you know the pixel size that you need the size to be, you can choose between those. So images themselves, to find images, I often use the Explore tool like I showed you in the first example. The Explore tool is right here or under Tools, Explore, and it's this side menu, and you can search for images and try to find the image that you want, and maybe you want a transparent image. Transparent, sorry about that. And then we go to images, and then we can bring images that have transparent backgrounds in. If you're not finding the perfect image over here, a regular Google search actually will have more images. And you can search for transparent as well in here. And what you can do is just drag them up, and then you can drop them into your slideshow. Now that one didn't come with a transparent background, although on the side it did have the kind of checkerboard background means it's supposed to be transparent, but sometimes they just don't come in transparent. I think that one will this time. But if you do find an image that you like that's just not behaving, it doesn't have that transparent background, what you can do is right click, save image as, and then save it somewhere where you can find it. And then you can go to remove.bg and upload an image. And we can go find that image that we saved. There it is, and open. And then it's going to remove the background. It's going to change it to that checkerboard there. And then you can just copy and paste it. So copy image, and then we can paste it back here on the slide. My slide's getting a little full, but now it doesn't have that background behind it. So on remove background, you can also click this edit button, and it has this erase and restore. So you can also erase parts of it and make them transparent, or if you need to restore those parts, and it will bring them back if you mess up, or if you need to restore parts of it that were removed. A lot of times when you remove and maybe the background's white and the image's eyes are white, it will turn those transparent and they'll turn really creepy. So then I go to restore and fill back in the eyes, and then download it and save. And then you can go to insert image, upload from computer, and then you can upload that image. Oh, I uploaded the wrong one. 1 second. You gotta make sure you title them right, especially when you've got one you downloaded with the background and then one without. So usually I didn't that time, but you should look for the remove BG and then you'll know that's the one that got removed and then it comes in. And as you can see, I had restored parts of it so the white came back. Also on remove BG, you can also put different backgrounds. So I've got some other backgrounds and the same thing. When you find one you like, you can also download that. With images, so let's get a new slide here. And once again, I'm going to clear it out just by highlighting over it, click backspace, and let's take this picture and put that into it. Now on this picture, I want to do some things. So first you could crop it and you could just drag those little bars down or up. However, there's also what's called a mask. And right here next to the crop image, there's this little drop down menu and you can choose different shapes. So if we want this to be maybe this one, and you can do that and it'll change it and kind of shape it like that. You can also place a line around it. So if we wanted a border color, and as you can see, once we have those custom hex codes into a slideshow, they'll stay. So we could place the border and make the border larger on the image. You can also have other format options. So if we move that, we go to format. You can change the size, the position. So if you're layering, you can put it behind something or something in front. You can recolor it here, and there's some different recolor options. And there's other adjustments. You can make it more transparent. So if there was something behind it, it could be seen. You can also change the brightness and play with those, or the contrast. You can also give it a drop shadow. So down here, the drop shadow, you want to adjust. Right now, because of the angle of the drop shadow, you're not seeing it, and the distance. So if we start putting the distance, then you can see that drop shadow that's coming up behind it. Let's keep playing with it so you can see it a little bit more. There you go. See, the transparency is going to matter a lot on this one. Also a reflection. So this is going to be to make it look like, let's do it on a different one. Let's do it on this tree back here so you can see this one. So if we go to format options, you're not going to see those format options unless you've actually clicked on an image. So once we've clicked on the image itself, then you can see the format options and the reflection. So we're going to make sure we got a reflection, and then we can make it more or less transparent. And then the distance from the tree, I want it to be right against the tree so it looks like a shadow in maybe a pool, and you can make it larger or smaller. So those are some fun ways to make your images really pop in a Google slideshow. Other images, when you go to insert image, you can upload them from your computer, search the web. You can also go to your photos or by a URL if you have the URL, or you can take a picture. So this is great for students if they need to show you their work. They can choose the camera option. It will turn on. They can hold up their work, take the picture, and insert it. And then they can also adjust the image. They can put a mask on it. They can adjust those reflection and drop shadows and play around with the image itself. So those are some of my favorite tricks with images in Google Slides.